Oh, come on. Don't do me like this. Don't do me like this.
You look so light and frisky afterwards.
Hey, but hold on.
How did it cure you, man?
I got wheeled off. It looked like he did have to actually go to the bathroom. I wouldn't, if I had to go to the bathroom, I wouldn't have took a wheelchair there. I'm telling you.
I'm just going to move on because we have so much in this show, and I can see both of you are going to get me into trouble.
Oh, my goodness.
Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. I'm alongside our front office insider, Amin Al-Hassan, our NBA Finals MVP, Paul Pierce. Ric Flair is dropping by the show in a little bit, guys. So if you want to see me turn into a starstruck kid, can stick around for that. Also coming up, Amin is going to break down what life will be like for Steph without Klay this season. And Paul will tell us his realistic expectations for the two-time MVP. First, though, we begin with breaking news coming out of Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo is signing the supermax extension with the Bucks. His agent, Northwestern's own Alex Saratzis, told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski that it will be for the full 5-year, $228 million, including an opt-out after the 4th year. And here's Giannis himself on Twitter and Instagram saying, "This is my home. This is my city. I am blessed to be a part of the Milwaukee Bucks for the next 5 years. Let's make these years count. The show goes on. Let's get it." I now welcome in ESPN's NBA reporter Malika Andrews to the show. Malika, what motivated Giannis to sign this extension now and not wait until after the season when the same deal would have been on the table for him?
Well, Rachel, this is a place, you heard him in his Instagram post, Milwaukee is home. And so as he's weighing this decision, you have to remember that hanging over him the entire time is just how much he cares about this franchise and this city. And so we know that he was weighing the potential to win in Milwaukee with what he loves, the city, his family, and can all of that gel? And at the end of the day, Giannis is sitting there and decides, you know what, I'm going to put all of these three things that are the most important to me on one side of the scale, give them my signature. That is a vote of confidence, a vote of faith that he believes not only in the warm, feel-good story of Giannis coming to Milwaukee, drinking a smoothie for the first time and getting a taste of the American dream, but also that he genuinely feels that this is a place that he would like to invest in as a place that he can win a championship, because that is his ultimate goal.
Yeah, and you have to think him signing it now says something about what the Bucks have done for the past month, and it's been quite a ride, right? The Bucks make the Drew Holiday deal in an obvious effort to show Giannis how serious they are about winning. They try to make the deal for Bogdan Bogdanovic. That gets bungled. Giannis comes back to Milwaukee from Greece, doesn't sign right away. His teammates all give him pens for his birthday. He still doesn't sign. And now finally today we get the announcement. How nervous was ownership and the front office specifically about whether this would happen or not?
You know, I think that ownership in the front office, from the folks that I've been talking to, they've been in constant communication with Giannis and with Alex Saratzis, making it very clear of what their intentions were. It was always, the offer was always on the table. And sure, as they marched towards this deadline, this date of the 21st, there were nerves that creeped up. But really, from the folks that I've been talking to, it was the coaching staff, his teammates, that were starting to wonder, hey, what is the season going to look like? Not whether or not Giannis is going to necessarily be here for the next 5 years, but how is it going to look for us right now this season? I got one text from someone within the organization after he signed that was just a gif of someone looking incredibly relieved, wiping sweat off of their face. So obviously it's a joyous day in Milwaukee, but yes, this is a team that really wanted to keep their superstar, and the closer they got to that deadline, the more the nerves were kind of bubbling up inside them.
Well, they can all relax today, Malika. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And I'm now going to welcome Amin and Paul back in. We're going to break down just expectations for Giannis's play now that he's set to become the highest paid player in the NBA. And Paul, you're Finals MVP. You have carried the weight of an entire organization on your shoulders. There were years in Boston, it was you. Yeah, what are your expectations for Giannis? Because no matter who they put around him, it's Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's going to continue to be dominant. And what this tells me when he signs this deal is when you look at this generation superstars, when you look at LeBron and KD, how they went about getting their championships. He wants his legacy to be built on his back, not going somewhere else. He said, we want to bring the players to Milwaukee. I don't want to have to go anywhere else. And that's the sign of an old school player mentality, because when I hear him speak in his interviews, he doesn't go work out with the other superstars. You know, he doesn't want to be friends with them. He's engulfed himself right here in Milwaukee. And he says, listen, I'm going to build my legacy right here. I don't care what anybody else says. All the rumors about going to Toronto, Miami, Golden State. No, we're going to do it right here in Milwaukee. And you got 228 million reasons why you want to stay also. So that's a pretty good reason also.
Amen. That money, woo, that's a lot of heroes right there. But Rachel, you know what today is? I know a lot of people are going to say this is a triumph for small market teams. Look, they can actually do it. They can keep their stars. I'm here to say no. This is a day of triumph for teams that are well run. You pointed out, Rachel, when you're talking to Malika right there. This is a team that has made a bunch of moves, not just this year, over the last 2 or 3 years, to put themselves in this position, to be a perennial contender. Well-owned, well-managed, well-coached. Does that mean they're perfect? No. Everyone's got room for improvement, and we know what Milwaukee's is. We talked about it ad nauseum for months, it seems. But the reality is, this is a very well-run organization, and players want to be somewhere that feel like you are taking care of my legacy. Not take care of me by giving me treats and treating my family nice. Taking care of my legacy. Am I going to be remembered as one of the greats or as a failure? Are you doing everything to remind everybody how great I am? And that means putting together the right situation around me so that we can win some championships. And I think Milwaukee has done that. Congratulations to the Bucks organization.
I'm so glad you said that, because this is not a referendum, by the way, on small markets. It is not also a referendum on the supermax. The supermax is a bribe. And Giannis did not sign this deal because he wanted extra money. I know, Paul, I agree with you. Hey, $228 million is fantastic to have in the bank account. But anyone who has spent time around Giannis knows that is not what makes him tick. The fact that he felt that this team had done right by him, his loyalty to this group, the way Milwaukee had operated through his time with the franchise, that's the referendum. That's what this is about. Trying to bribe players to stay with bad teams, it's never going to work. And I have heard people say over the past year or two, hey, when the next CBA comes up, they've really got to address it. How can they keep these teams? How can they keep these players with these teams? Money isn't the answer. It's how you run the team. Right, Paul?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Milwaukee's been a Class A organization. Bud has been a great coach. You see ownership trying to get the pieces around him to further advance his legacy and win a championship. So that's very important. And culture also. He loves the culture there in Milwaukee.
Absolutely. And I mean, now this is going to cause ripple effects around the league. You had a number of teams, Dallas, Miami, who were holding some room for Giannis for next season, for next offseason. Right. What kind of effect do you see this having around the NBA?
Well, I think the first thing that's going to happen is the James Harden market's about to warm up a lot more than it has in the last couple of weeks. Everyone's kind of in a holding pattern trying to see, what's Giannis going to do? If I have a shot at Giannis, I want Giannis. But now knowing that he's off the table, now we might be willing to give up some assets, because here's the thing about James Harden that makes him special as a trade target beyond being a perennial MVP candidate. He's a guy who's under contract for this year, next year, and a player option after that. So you get at least 2 solid years of James Harden. That's something worth giving up assets for.
Absolutely. And Paul, do you think that this means that other teams are going to look at the Bucks a little bit differently? Because